All right.
Man, I told you. If you're going to get me a cereal sponsored by a basketball player, Charles Barkley, not Shaq.
That is Charles Barkley.
Dang!
All black people don't look alike, Ben. Just kidding. It's Shaq.
Yeah.
All right. Here's the game. Ready?
One question. Since the last time I ate Frosted Flakes, these feel less sugary. Have Frosted Flakes been taken over by like a health food company?
I don't know. It says 50% off. Ba-doom doom.
50% the flavor?
Do you need to do like my friends used to do and go put sugar on your Frosted Flakes?
I did used to do that too.
Did you? My parents would never have allowed such a thing.
Really?
Here's the game. You're going to write down 5 things without me seeing. And then you are going to attempt to make the sound of that thing, of one of those things. I'm trying to guess what it is, okay? You're going to make the sound. We, them, and me are going to try to guess what it is, okay? Then,
Okay.
if I get 3 chances to guess, and I get 2 chances to ask you to repeat it. Then what's going to
I
happen?
accept your terms.
Then what's going to happen is, if I'm right, then you'll be like, you're right. And then you have to show it. And then it'll be like, you're wrong. And then you have to show it either way to know if you're cheating. All right? That makes sense? So, first,
It's as clear as I can make it.
as clear as I can say it.
Three hours later.
I'm having a lot of trouble with this. Did you get 5?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I've got 3. I'm hoping another one will come to me.
All right. Who goes first? Rock, paper, scissors.
You can go first because you're older.
Thanks, man. I knew my age would come in handy sometime. Ready?
Yes.
Ooh. Ooh. Ooh.
One more time. I wasn't listening.
Ooh. 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 Ooh.
All right.
You get one more ask if you need it.
So, first thing that goes through my mind is some sort of wounded animal, and the noise is like when he steps in a mud puddle and gets more wounded because he's stuck. I have no idea what this is.
Should I give you a hint?
Can I phone a friend?
Yes, you should phone your wife.
Okay.
Are you really phoning her?
I need help, man.
Hello?
Hey, I'm playing mouth charades with this weirdo.
Yeah?
So echoey. Is it echoey? On your watch?
I don't know. Oh.
I have no idea.
It's a household item.
Vacuum?
It's a vacuum.
The context helped me a lot.
Exactly. I know.
I don't know why I automatically, when we started doing this game, I was thinking everything was going to be animals.
Oh, no. Then I would have called it Anna charades.
Mouth
Mouse charades? All right, your turn. Wow.
All right. You have to let the whole thing finish because you're going to think you understand what it is right away.
That's the whole thing?
Yes, it was. Go with your gut.
A dog rounding up cows?
That is really close.
A dog chasing cows.
I'm not quite sure how to... I'm just going to give it to you. It was a dog pretending to be a cow, but I didn't know how to convey that the dog was pretending to be a cow.
Okay.
Clearly there's a superior person in this game.
Ready? Here we go.
Was that it?
No.
The breath?
No.
Dang it. Me when I see chicken wings.
All right. Do you want context?
Context helps me.
All right. It's an activity.
Okay, let me hear it again. Dog attacking cat? I don't know.
That's an activity you do?
Oh, only on the weekends. Like an activity people do?
Yes.
Can I hear it one more time?
It's the last one.
I know. I have no idea.
It's bowling.
It sounded too much like an animal at the end.
I don't know how to go. I don't know.
Okay.
All right.
That was good.
Here. We'll each take one more. Go. So we can jump into this topic.
Oh, oops. You want to know what I was going to do?
Do it.
I was going to go. No! Arnold Schwarzenegger with a machine gun.
Wait. I want to hear this machine gun again.
Clearly, I'm not a vocal sound effect person. Dude,
I thought this was something that all little boys knew how to recreate.
like,
Where's a machine gun?
show me how you do it.
I always went. Even though lots of food just...
Boom, 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 boom.
Let's jump into this. Why is the world so crazy? We have COVID-19 running rampant, but then settling down, but then trying to pick itself back up again.
It's trying to variate
The
itself.
D variant, all right, which could also be a time variant. It could be coming from a different time. Exactly. Low key. Lame.
Low. Wow.
And then we have all the racism stuff going on. Everybody's getting mad at everybody else because they said something that was racist. Let's point this out. There's a difference between something being racial and being racist.
Yep.
And you need to learn to make the difference, because if you don't, you'll get mad at everybody.
Yeah.
Things are racial, not necessarily racist.
There's also a difference between racism and stereotyping.
Yes. There's also a difference between prejudice and racism.
Big time.
Lots of them.
Because racism is straight up hate.
Yeah, racism is thinking that you're better than somebody else because of your race, or they're worse because of their race, or one of those things. Prejudice is just prejudging someone before you know them or know anything about them.
Yeah, and people make
prejudgments all the time.
Prejudices every day about stuff, you know?
Exactly, good and bad. So we have racism, we have critical race theory that's being taught in schools, or trying to get taught in schools, different places. We have COVID-19 happening. The economy's crazy right now. Just, dude,
It cost me $70 to fill my car.
Both my cars cost me $100. Dude.
We were going the same direction with that.
gender identity and figure out who you are. We've got protests happening. We've got, dude, the building falling in Florida.
Dude,
like,
that's
just
horrendous.
crazy stuff happening all the time. And so the question we're asking is why is the world so crazy? What is going on? But you were bringing up something about the gender identity thing.
Yeah, I think it's so interesting to look at this and see how, I mean, people always are looking for identity. People always want to know who they are, where they belong. And I believe that, I mean, people need to find their identity in Jesus and in the church, and because that's what it's for. That's one of the main functions of the church, is to find purpose.
Yeah.
So when the devil is able to take a whole chunk of people and confuse them down to their very core of what they are, if they're a man, if they're a woman, if they think they're something else, I think that is the ultimate deception. Because to wake up in the morning, I mean, I've never woken up and wondered what I am. I've always known I'm a man. But to wake up and not know what you are and feel like you have to do these things to your body or take these supplements or these drugs or whatever to change who you are, that is the ultimate deception.
Yeah. And
I don't think anything could be more deceiving than that, to not know what you are.
And to live like that, like to have that question.
Yeah.
I heard somebody,
and to wonder if the next thing I do, if the next transition, if the next thing is gonna bring that fulfillment. But ultimately, without Jesus, I mean, these people are not gonna find their fulfillment.
Yeah.
Sorry, you were about to say.
No, it's good. I don't want to jump into that too much because I really want to get into this concept of why everything's crazy.
Yeah.
But it is true. I mean, y'all are in this world. Y'all are watching. You guys, your Instagram feeds are full of it. And so you may be dealing with anxiety. I know anxiety's on the rise. I know, worrying about your future and what's to come and and all that kind of stuff. And it's crazy out there. And so I want to talk a little bit about why things are the way they are. What do you do, when things are like this and whatnot? But you were the one who actually got me thinking along this line, because the other day we were talking and you were like, dude, the world's crazy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, when I was a teenager and when you were a teenager, there wasn't this caliber of strangeness happening.
Okay.
There was stuff going on, but it's stuff is weird.
So this is, okay, I will say that there's a level of strangeness that I feel like has increased, but I also want to say that I do feel like a big chunk of it is our exposure to it.
That's good, because you can get information in 1 second on
Constantly.
on anything.
Constantly.
And 24-hour news cycle, there's always a story. There's always,
I mean, but it's not just the news.
Yeah.
It's in your friends' stories on their Instagram. It's in your friends' feed. It's in your parents' feed. It's in, like, it is.
Because, I mean, even when we were teenagers, I mean, smartphones weren't, they were
smart.
at their...
I wasn't a teenager when smartphones came out.
BlackBerries? Didn't that count?
I wasn't a teenager.
How old were you?
20, okay, maybe Blackberries. Blackberries weren't smartphones.
You could get on the internet with them. That counts.
All right.
But the readily accessible information and getting so many just streams of info coming at you at once. Yeah.
So we've never had this in the history of the world.
Yeah.
We've never had a moment where somebody in Germany just knew what was happening in China.
Yeah.
Right? Like, they didn't know there was a war happening over there.
In, like, when the Civil War ended, wasn't it a part of the country didn't know the Civil War ended till the Pony Express delivered the letter?
Yes.
So it's like,
you have people still fighting.
Yeah, because they didn't know the war was over.
Yeah.
And it took, how long did it take? I mean, that was 4 days, 5 days, 6 days, depending on where they were in the country to ride across.
Well, I mean, think about the whole Juneteenth thing. That was 2 years after the war.
Yeah.
That they went and told them that they were free. Or after the Emancipation Proclamation.
But, like, we know when, for instance, when the building collapsed in Florida, that was a headline within probably 20 minutes of it happening.
Yeah.
Which is insane that we get that kind of information.
So I don't think that God actually intended our brains to hold this amount of information. And so one thing I would say is to be careful what you are ingesting constantly.
Yeah.
You may just need to swipe through people's stories when you see it's all their news stuff, because you don't need to know, that the D variant hit Italy. There's nothing you're going to do about that right now.
Why'd you point to me when you said Italy?
Hit Italy, all right? Hit Italy. I don't know.
Don't point to Charles Barkley like that.
Sorry, man. So you may not need to know everything that's going on all the time.
It's interesting, the concept of minimizing the amount of information we get as opposed to taking in as much as possible.
Yeah.
I feel way better when I don't look at the news.
Way better.
Way better.
I had to stop listening to a lot
I'm
of
not
people.
saying don't know anything.
Yeah.
But there's something really freeing about being like, all right, don't care today.
And you know what? I would say 99% of what gets talked about on the news has zero effect on my life.
Dude, okay. I read this Facebook article the other day. It was some news article about something that it was from a local news source here in Reno. And they were reporting on something that happened in Virginia. And somebody commented and said, "Why is this news? Aren't you a local news source?" And it's because it's like, it's true. They just need people looking at their content to keep it relevant and to keep it. But I was laughing so hard because I'm like, as I'm looking at it, I'm like, this isn't really news.
No.
I don't need to spend the 45 seconds I spent reading it.
Nope.
But I did it because it had a catchy headline.
Yep. I want to read y'all a verse.
Clickbait!
Proverbs 29:18. It says, "When people do not accept divine guidance, they run wild." Okay?
Perfect. Thanks for watching Serial Talks today.
This is other versions of this verse say, where there is no vision, the people perish. Where there is no divine revelation, the people turn to ruin. But basically,
turn to ruin. What is it? Which law of thermodynamics is everything?
Third. Everything
tends towards disorder.
Yeah.
And I think there you go. It's in
Yeah.
the Bible, people.
So you're asking, why is everything so crazy? It's because we have chosen other things over God. We have chosen to remove God as the stability, his laws, his direction for our life. And when we do that, people run wild and they don't know. It's like our freedom turns into a prison.
Yeah.
And we are a prisoner to our own emotions. We're a prisoner to our own ideas. We're a prisoner to our stupid ideas. And we're just like, we're so smart. We're not smart. People are not smart.
No. And it's funny you say we're a prisoner to our own freedom. So I have 2 kids. Josh has 4 kids. Children thrive on having structure and knowing what they can and cannot do.
Yeah.
Because, but then you become an adult and nobody can tell you can't do something. But honestly, it's better when you know your boundaries. Because then you won't start getting crazy and doing wild stuff.
But even as an adult, think about it. We have it. You have traffic laws. Why do we have traffic laws?
Man, I don't listen to those. Those are dumb. That's also why I got 48 demerits on my license. That's all.
Think about this. The reason why you trust to drive in America is because you're trusting that the person on the other side of this line
is going to listen to the laws.
Is going to listen to these lines and what the lines say. You are literally trusting that this person is going to adhere to the boundaries that are placed on them by these 2 yellow lines that nobody is telling you.
We are rocketing down the road at 80 miles an hour in a metal thing fueled by a flammable substance, and we just trust the person next to us.
We trust them to obey the laws.
Yeah.
And that's what's going to keep us safe. But when we remove God's laws, we start doing things that are going to hurt us.
Like driving outside the lines.
Like driving outside the lines.
Which would hurt you physically.
Head-on collision. Fist-on collision. You're just running down the road at 80 miles per hour, fist forward.
And the cars are bouncing off. It's like that scene in The Avengers when Hulk punches the worm, except we were in the theater together when we watched that for the first time. And it's still this moment that we have together that we speak with in hushed tones, usually, a little reverent, because it changed our life.
I'm always angry.
We just turned and looked at each other like, what are we watching?
This is the movie. We most recently felt like that about Peter Rabbit 2. There was a scene where... I'm just kidding.
I didn't see Peter Rabbit 2.
Take your kids. It's fine.
This is a straight falsehood you're speaking. The second part of this says, whoever obeys the law is joyful. And that, I think, is is where we miss it. We want so badly to listen to the original lie of the devil, which is you will be like gods.
Yeah.
And you can be a god to yourself. And that's what's being pushed right now. Our own divine nature.
My truth.
My truth. And when we allow our laws to go over God's laws and to obey what we want instead of what God's law, we are going to reap the consequences, which is we will run wild and we will do stupid things because people, apart from God, are not smart.
They be fools.
I wish they were smart, but
No.
they ain't.
Don't call me dumb.
Because of Jesus, you are wise.
Thanks, man. For some reason, I feel like we should do that sequence like an old Japanese movie, but we have subtitles. We're like, and then we'll record it later.
Okay.
But you are wise.
Remember this. Chaos literally has been happening for centuries.
Yeah.
All over the world, all the time. So don't let the fact that chaos is happening freak you out as if like the world's suddenly become different. Like, it's not. Yeah.
No, you're supposed to call on me.
Oh, Ben?
Oh, thanks. To quote the Joker from The Dark Knight, sometimes all people need is a little push. And I feel like right now, because people are saying my truth, I'm going to live my way, I'm going to do my thing, that's the push that's put people in a spot of where they're slaves and to their own freedoms.
Yeah.
Because they can just do it. They're just doing it. They're just doing what they want. They're just doing this. I'm a different gender today. I'm just this. I'm gonna do this. And it's crazy. And then all of a sudden these people wake up in 20 years and go, what the heck did I do?
Yeah, it's true.
But it's too late.
Yeah.
Because there should have been someone who loved them enough to tell them they were being crazy. There should have been someone who told them this isn't how you live. There should have been someone who spoke truth to them. But people are too scared to speak the truth right now.
Oof.
Because somebody's
People being
going
too scared to speak the truth is probably the most dangerous place that we could be. And so, teenager, teen, listen to this. Young person, you need to know the truth so that you can live the truth and so that you can also speak the truth. The truth is where real freedom, Jesus said, the truth will set you free. Real freedom comes from being in the truth. But truth is not based off of your opinion. Truth is based off of an unchanging person, and that person is God.
Yes. Yep.
So
Truth is not malleable. It doesn't change over time. It's the same thing.
yeah, so and truth and facts are different also. Some facts don't change, but some facts
Do change. Like, fact, when I got married, I weighed 155 pounds. Fact, now I weigh more than that because I don't work out very much.
There you go. So facts can change. Truth does not change. So what do you do with the anxiety? What do you do with this feeling of just like, oh, I'm cut, like what the future holds?
Yeah.
I will say this. People never. We are at a time when we need people to stand up.
Yes.
We are at a time when we need people to stand up for truth. We are at a time when we need people to stand up for God. And you as a young person, we need you to stand up in the middle of, I know that when you're in your class, you telling the truth about God and his word is not going to be popular, and you will probably be ridiculed. You will probably be shut down. But the people will not hear the truth unless we speak the truth.
Yeah.
And I will say this, it reminds me of one of the hobbits and Gandalf, and they're standing there.
Which, are we talking Hobbit movies or Lord of the Rings movies?
Lord of the Rings.
Okay.
And they're looking into the distance at Mordor, and they know that the fight's about to happen.
That's Gandalf and Pippin.
Gandalf
They're
and
in
Pippin.
Minas Tirith.
Yes. And he says, I think he says, like, I don't want to go to war, or something like that.
Ugh, I know the exact scene. I'm watching in my brain
Yeah,
right now,
me
but
too.
I can't remember the dialogue.
But basically, or maybe it was Frodo, and he's like, I don't want to do this, and he's like, we don't get to decide what happens, just what we're gonna do when it happens.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. What we're gonna do with the time that's given to us.
I wish none of this had happened.
So do all who live to see such times, but that is not for them to decide. All we have to decide is what to do with the time that is given to us.
But my point being this. You may not get to decide what happens in the world in terms of other people, but you get to decide what you are going to do as it's happening? Are you going to stand up and bring truth? Are you going to stand up and bring the hope of Jesus? Are you going to be a true follower of Jesus, or are you going to be a quote unquote follower of Jesus, but really a follower of the world?
And the world's way of loving people is letting them do what they want.
Yeah.
But our way of loving people is telling them the truth and not allowing them to do things that will harm themselves.
Yeah, and we have to get behind that. In Psalm 91, I want to encourage you to read the Psalm 91, the chapter. It talks about like not walking in fear because of what's going on around us. In Psalm 61, verse 2, David said, "When my heart is overwhelmed, lead me to the rock that is higher than I am." And he's talking about God. It's a metaphor. When my heart is overwhelmed, when you're anxious, when you feel like it's too much to handle, go to God. Just get in his presence. Put on worship. Just begin to say, God, I trust you to take care of my future. I trust you to take care of what's coming. I trust you that you're going to be with me, and I'm going to follow you to the end. And I'll say this, if the church doesn't pray and begin to move, nothing is going to change. God did not set up the government to bring change to the world.
But they know how to fix everything, Josh. Spend money.
Ben, money. I don't even know.
I don't know where it was going either.
God didn't set up the government. God didn't set up politicians. God didn't set up activists. God didn't set up protests. God said that he is going to empower his church, and the gates of hell will not prevail against the church. That the church is what God put on the earth to bring change. So if you are a Christian, if you're a follower of Jesus, then you are the church, and you have been called in this moment and for the rest of your life to initiate change individually with people, on a grand scale, on a small scale, whatever it is. We have to pray.
Yeah.
We have to act. We have to move. You have to know what you believe. Use this app that you are watching. Use it. If you're watching on YouTube, get the 418 Revolution app. Learn what you believe. We have to start bringing change to this world, and you were made for this moment. There's no accident that you were born during this time. God wants to use you. He is with you. The world is crazy, but Jesus has the answers.
You were made for such a time as this.
You were made.
Don't shy away.
Don't run away.
You gotta do
What you God said to do.
Do it.
Yeah.
Do it.
Yeah.
Do it.
Yeah.
Wearing shorts today.
Wearing shorts today. Wearing shorts.
You gotta do what God says to do. He says, love people. Don't hate them.
He
Do
says.
what he says.
He
Sorry,
says.
Josh.
He says. Oh, I was just doing that. As
Oh,
like
thanks.
He
Okay.
says.
Love the people. Help them know that God is there to save their soul.
Do, do, do. Do, do, do. Hey, thanks for watching Serial Talks. We love you guys. Go and change the world. Let the Holy Spirit fill you. God has called you. Do it. Go for it. Thank you, man, because I'm gonna drink that later.
I know you were. That's why I didn't do it.
Watch more stuff on the app. Get the 418 Revolution devotionals.
Sponsor us, Charles Barkley.